Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Sunway Test Late Night Talks. I'm Jack. I'm your host tonight. So tonight we are going to be having a session with our alumni. Okay, but before we do that, let's invite Mr. Lim Ming Xiang, who is going to be introducing to you a little bit about ICW. Okay, so let's have Mr. Lim Ming Xiang from ICW.
Hello, good evening. Hi, thank you for joining us tonight at our Sunway test session. And thank you, Sunway, for having me here tonight as well. My name is Ming Xiang, and I work for the Icaew office in Kuala Lumpur. So, what I'm going to do for the next 10 minutes is to introduce to you who we are, what we do, and what is the qualification that we're providing. All right, so sit back while I share my screen, and I will end my presentation then with a short video about Icaew. All right. Okay. Sorry for the small technical error earlier. Okay. So, first of all, a very quick introduction to ICAW itself. We are one of the oldest professional body in the world. All right. And we were founded by Royal Charter from the Queen of England in the 1880. So we are the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. All right. And we are based in London. But now, today, with our growing membership, we have offices all over the world, including in Southeast Asia, in Jakarta, Singapore, Shanghai, and even Kuala Lumpur. We have 159,000 members currently practicing in 149 countries, right? And all of the world's 100 global leading brands, Burberry, Nike, Reebok, Coca-Cola, employ ICAW chartered accountants. In Malaysia, more than 200 of our authorized training employers employ chartered accountants, and the good news is 100% of our ICW students are employed after successfully completing the professional level. Today, chartered accountants from ICW work in a variety of industry, including accounting, finance, hospitality, technology, fashion, manufacturing, and in almost every other industry that you can think of. So, the ICW is one of the most recognized and portable qualification in the world, being recognized by many different national and professional bodies around the world. With an ICW qualification, you will have the ability to work in many countries, including Canada, America, South Africa, Hong Kong, Japan, without the need, with minimum need to take additional papers. We have reciprocal recognition in many other professional bodies as well, including with Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, and many other countries around. So, taking up the ICAW is very simple. We actually have three different levels, starting from the certificate level, consisting of 6 modules. Then, where after we have embedded you with the knowledge necessary to understand accounting, business, and finance, we will then take you on to the professional level, where at this stage you'll be trained to apply what you have learned at the certificate level. Complete both the professional and certificate level, you will then be able to advance on to the advanced level, where you will then work and study at the same time. The good news about the ICW program is that you do not need to have taken accounting or business in your high school, all right, if you're intending to pursue the qualification, because we assume that all students will start at ground zero when they start the certificate level, which means that we embed all of you with new knowledge when you join us at the beginning of the program. So, the fastest way to become a chartered accountant is to start the ICW qualification immediately after you complete your high school. Of course, you can take on the traditional academic pathway, where upon completing SPM, for example, you can then take up a pre university program or A-level or STPM, proceed on to a degree, and then come back and take the Icaew qualification after you have completed your degree. Or the fastest process is then to take up the Icaew CFAP, the Certificate in Finance, Accounting and Business, immediately after SPM, right, where you would then take the CFAP for approximately 1.5 years, for example, at Sunway test, which includes a 3-month practical training, work-based learning. And upon completing CFAP, you then proceed on to the professional level, where you then spend another 1 year completing 6 modules. Upon completion at professional level, the unique bit about the Icaew program in Malaysia is that all students will then, when they move to the advanced level, they'll be required to have a full-time employment, where you'll be working shoulder to shoulder with graduates who have come out for a degree, all right, for example, in audit. And at the same time, while you're in a full-time employment working, you will then pursue the final 3 modules, including the case study, at the advanced level, which will take you approximately another 3 to 4 years. Therefore, the Icaew qualification, if you start it immediately after SPM, it is the fastest route to take you into employment, with just a minimum of 2.5 years to a maximum of 3 years to complete the CFAP and the professional level. All right. So, in other words, you will start to have earning capacity early in your years compared to if you have taken the traditional academic route after high school and then only take the professional qualification after. If you have questions or you want more information about this pathway and route, please ask us questions after the session or visit Sunway tests, all right, where they are actually open every day, including weekends as well. We work with more than 200 authorized training employers in Malaysia, as we mentioned earlier, and these are some of the employers that work with us to train chartered accountants. Employers ranging from audit firms like BDO, Deloitte, EY, KPMG, PwC, to even banks like Maybank, CIMB, AmBank, government-linked corporations like Sime Darby, UEM, Tenaga Nasional, Bursa Malaysia, even our national bank, Bank Negara, right? As well as even oil and gas companies like Petronas, Schlumberger, and Shell. In other words, no matter what industry you're in, we have an employer that's ready to train you to become a chartered accountant. So some of the members or some of the chartered accountants today that we have are like people like Dato' Faiz Azmi, Dato' Gan Ahti, Dato' Narendra Jasani, and Dato' Ralph Rashid, managing partners of 4 of the big 6 global accounting firms who currently has base in Malaysia. Corporate leaders like Adrian Ong, Tony Fernandez, right, from famous brands like Mr. DIY and AirAsia are also Icaew chartered accountants. And a former presenter and producer of 89.9 BFM, Miss Noel Lim, is also an Icaew chartered accountant. The senior board members of Petronas, from the chairman down to the CEO and the CFO as well, the general manager for group corporate finance, they are all Icaew chartered accountants, right? As well as the managing director of Khazanah, right, Dato' Amirul Faisal, the CFOs of both QSR brands and Sime Darby, they are all Icaew chartered accountants, just to name a few. So that comes to the end of my presentation, all right? And to sum it up, let me play you a very short video, all right, where we can then explain up what Icaew is in 3 minutes.
Are you ready to future-proof your career with Icaew? You can kickstart a journey that is recognized and preferred by top employers globally. The Icaew qualification is for anyone with a passion for accountancy, business, and finance. And there are several pathways to get you started. As soon as you leave school, you can study for the Icaew Certificate in Finance, Accounting, and Business, the direct route for acquiring the Icaew qualification. While university students or graduates could enroll for the qualification during or after their degree. You may apply for credits for prior learning, also known as exemptions, or gain strategic credits at selected universities in Malaysia. What's more, you also have the opportunity to complete the Icaew qualification while being employed. ICAEW Chartered Accountants are highly sought after in any industry for their expertise in business acumen and strategy. 96 of the world's 100 global leading brands employ ICAEW Chartered Accountants, and 83% of FTSE companies have an ICAEW Chartered Accountant on board. You can be a part of a global network of 186,500 ICAEW members and students in 150 countries and work anywhere in the world with recognition from the Chartered Accountants worldwide and Global Accounting Alliance networks. ICAEW is founded in 1880 with a royal charter and is one of the oldest professional bodies with a long history of serving the public interest and supporting members globally. As we continue to work with governments, regulators, and business leaders around the world, we believe that chartered accountancy can be a force for positive change. We share our professional insight, expertise, and understanding of business and finance to create a world of strong economies and sustainable future for all. Check out what our chartered accountants have to say about the ICAEW experience.
ICAEW carries its accounting finance role, and the reason the brand is so strong is because it produces finance leaders who think critically, act ethically, and with integrity.
The knowledge that I gained from ICAEW helped me in my day-to-day work, ranging from financial reporting, tax, how to adapt into different kind of situation at the workplace. I would say ICAEW provides a very strong and solid foundation to prepare the students for the actual workplace.
Academy requires me to be fully knowledgeable in fixed asset accounting, and ACA syllabus encompasses all of these.
Start your path towards becoming a chartered accountant with ICAEW. For more info or to register your interest, please contact our ICAEW personnel.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's all from me. All right. So if you have any questions and you'd like to know more about ICAEW, one of the oldest and most prestigious professional body in the world, please ask questions after our session. All right. Or contact Sunway for more information. Back to you, Jack.
Thank you, Ming Xiang. Okay, very informative. Just to give you all an idea, actually, I am a lecturer with Sunway Test. So I've been teaching the program for the past 10 years, specializing in the subjects of business strategy. So today, I would like to also invite one of my ex-students, all right, which is actually one of my first group of students that I've actually taught. All right, so her name is Eunice Ong, and without much further ado, I would like to invite her to actually join us here, whereby we're going to have a chat and see, where have she been going and what is it that she's doing now. Okay, so can we have Eunice? Hi, Eunice.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, remember, you were one of my first group of students that I taught. That was about 10 years ago. Okay, so
It's been 10 years. A long time.
Yes, indeed. So without us knowing, right, it's already been 10 years. And you were my first batch. And then now I think, after that, probably about 40 batches have actually passed on. Every single year, there are about 4 batches. So about 40 batches already. And each batch probably, about 30 to 40 students. So Can you imagine the number of students that have actually gone through our program? Okay, so very popular program in Malaysia. So perhaps maybe you could actually share with us, right, in the first place, of all the many courses that you had, the choices that you had, okay, why did you take the ICAEW program from your perspective?
If I want to be very honest,
Okay.
money.
Yes.
Honestly, but at that point of time, my first choice originally, at that point of time, I didn't know about such a fast track program. So if you want to take accounting, obviously it's the degree route. That's what everybody knows.
Mhm.
So for me, I actually enrolled into a foundation course actually. But somewhere while I was doing that course, I found out that there is a fast track program in Sunway specifically. So I came all the way and I was introduced to ICAEW. And what got me even more interested was actually two main points about ICAW, which I think Ming Xiang shared just now as well. The fact that within 2.5 years, if you pass all papers at first attempt, of course, you'll be able to be working already. So at that point in time, money is a big thing and you want to earn as soon as you can. Yeah, so that was one of the things that got me interested. And of course, the other is the fact that you could get a job anywhere around the world. You could even get a job in any industry. And the fact that I could have an internship experience meant that if I were to compare with my peers, I probably would have an added advantage. So that kind of put me in the spot that, okay, you know what? I should try this program. And yeah, so 10 years down the road, here I am.
Yes, indeed. I think when you talk about, starting off early, right, it's a very, very important point. A lot of people will not realize that, okay, if I start at 20, when I go out to work, all right, my friends are going to start at 22, 23, all right, what's the difference? It's only 3 years. But that's one very important thing they've actually not considered is that you actually have 3 more working years in your life that if you were to accumulate up to when you're 60, can you imagine that last 3 years of your working life, how much extra money they're going to actually earn for your career? Okay, so a fresh start or a early start is actually really going to give you a step. Okay,
Yep,
and of course, the program actually brings you to places, all right, and you actually get very good starting pace. And of course, it is an exponential growth in terms of pace. And one more very interesting thing about the program is that many of our students actually come in with zero cost.
Yeah.
And the reason is because many of them are actually on scholarships.
Yes, even I myself.
Yep, yourself was on scholarship. And can you imagine if your parents have actually been, saving up for your education and you have about 100K to actually spend for your education? Now, at this point with inflation, right, it could be 200K. And then suddenly you tell your parents that the course that I intend to do is free.
Yes, definitely.
Can you imagine the $200,000 that is going to be saved up, right? What can you do with that? Buy you a car? Okay.
I wish they did.
or okay, put a deposit for a house.
True.
Okay, and with that, it would be already a good start. So a lot of people actually don't realize that is actually a perspective that they can actually gain if they've gotten a scholarship, if they start early, and then the kind of return on investment is much, much higher.
True.
Okay, of course, when we teach accounting, right, we talk about return on investment, and I think this is a good time for us to actually share that. Okay, so in terms of a brief history of your working life, when you say that you have got experiences and all that, can you tell us a little bit about your history of your working life after you have finished the course? What is it that you actually did?
Sure. I think similar to like what Ming Xiang has mentioned, I think I have to highlight that there will be a necessity for you to be attached to an ATE. So for myself, I interned with EY, and they gave me a conditional offer at that point of time. So lucky for us, for most Sunway students, we will be provided with a conditional offer the moment we are done with our internship. Then you will be actually provided a position in the firm. So for myself, I was attached with EY for about 4 years, doing audit, of course, and then, of course, about a year or so in PwC, doing consulting, due diligence. And then, of course, I decided after that to join you as a colleague in
Yes,
Sunway.
indeed.
So I am right now a lecturer in Sunway as well. Yeah.
And your specialization is in account. Is in the management.
Management accounting. I'm also in audit, so I have 2 papers that I cover mainly in ICAW.
Okay, so I think a lot of people will be thinking, why would you want to pick up a position as academician? Right, I'm sure a lot of our audiences would like to know.
Well, for me personally, I actually, a bit of background. My dad is actually a teacher in school, in a primary school. But for me, honestly, when I was in school, I actually said I never want to follow his footsteps. However, I seem to have eaten up my own words. But in any case, the reason I actually started was mainly because My dad had an emergency operation he had to do long time ago, and at that point of time, I was the only one available, so I had to take up some of his exam classes, the PMR and the SPM students. So that gave me a taste of what teaching was like. And I think that sort of gave me an idea, and I quite liked what I did at that point of time. So that gave me an idea. This is a possible route for me. It doesn't have to be immediate, so that's why I went out to do audit first, gain some experience. And also on top of that, when I was in EY, I had some training experience as well, due to the specialized nature of the industry I was in when I was doing audit. So audit, basically, a lot of people think is very broad, but if you go into a very specialized industry, you are sought after because of the skills that you have. So I was brought in to train some juniors, and from there I realized that, okay, really this is something I want to do. So when I had the opportunity to join Sunway, so obviously I decided, let's go, why not? And 5 years down the road, I'm still amazed that I've been here for 5 years already.
And I'm sure many more years to come, all right, because you really do enjoy the job. Okay, so I think a lot of people don't realize that when you do this particular program, all right, the options are actually limitless, because you are specializing in understanding the financial records of the organization, and you're able to become business partners of businesses, all right. And of course, with this, okay, you are now coming back in with the experience of audit. You are sharing it with our students. Okay, so, and that working experience really do make your job, you are doing a very good job what you're doing. So in that case, right, since you have graduated, okay, can you maybe, have you been in touch with some of your friends, that your classmates, and what are they actually doing now?
Yep. I wouldn't say we've been very much in touch because after 10 years, everyone's all around the world. What Ming Xiang has mentioned, everybody is really all around the world. I came from a class of about 15 students, or rather small because I was the first few batches. Out of 15 of us, I'll say about 40% to 50% are no longer in Malaysia anymore. So they've got families all over the world. I don't keep in touch as much, but we've got social media. So through Instagram, Reels, and whatnot, you are in touch already.
Yep, correct.
So for the majority of them, I'll have to say those who are overseas, majority are still in audit, but there are some who are financial controllers already so they're doing reporting in their own line of business. There are those who are still in Malaysia, who are business owners, which I think a lot assume that, if you do accounting, you have to be in audit, you have to be in financial reporting, but that's not really the case. So we have a couple of business owners in our groups who has opened restaurants, who has opened beauty salons, so even a dancing school actually. So it's not that, once you've taken an accounting program, you have to be stuck to it. It teaches you a lot more than that, and you will be able to use it, in what you would like in the future, your passion.
Yeah, that's the exact word I was looking for. You work in this, you do take this qualification, all right, and pursue your passion, all right, a passion, and grow the business, okay, and be very passionate about it. Like, for example, you, okay, your passion in teaching, all right, is evident. Okay, and from there on, you notice that it brings you to greater heights, and you are teaching not just only at the lower level, you're teaching from the lower level all the way up to the advanced level, right? Which is actually, something that not everybody could do. And because of your experience and because of your qualification, right, you bring in all those experiences and you're sharing it with our students. Okay, so that's something that we are very proud of.
Thank you.
So we always like our students to come back and teach, right? But unfortunately, a lot of them would like to have they pursue their own passions, respective passions. Okay, so I think many people don't realize that when you do this qualification, all right, you get a very good understanding of how businesses work. And that's why when Ming Xiang was sharing those slides, you notice that the people that are very successful, they are actually at the top of the organization. They are the CFOs, the CEOs, all right, in the board of directors. They take on very important positions, and even to the level of nation building. All right, so that's how important that particular qualification in terms of the critical thinking that they actually have trained you all to have. Okay, and
Okay.
yeah, all the way up to the top, all right, to the top of the best companies in Malaysia, but also owning your own business, all right, like a dance school or a beauty salon, all right, or even pursue a passion of teaching. Okay, so not every single qualification could actually allow you to do that, and that is within only when did you graduate? Or about 3 to 4 years? I mean, about 8 9 years ago, about that.
2014.
2014. Okay, 2014 that means about 8 years, right?
Yes, yeah, 8 years.
8 years, and you are already pursuing your own passion,
Yes.
right? And a lot of your friends are pursuing their passion.
Yes.
Okay, having businesses, all right.
True,
So I
true.
don't think many qualifications can actually get you that kind of head start, right, to do that. So I think that's the wonderful thing about this particular qualification that many people actually don't realize. And of course, from the experiences of audit, and when you're auditing so many different types of businesses, it gives you the experience. Okay, so the next question that I want to ask you is, all right, more relevant to the students who are probably listening to us, okay, what would be your advice to potential students who would like to pursue a career in business?
Well, in this case, I would say that if you are looking to go and open a business right away, because I think a lot of students or a lot of people think that if you do accounting, it's mainly just back-end work, administrative work. However, actually in ICAEW, I think Ming Xiang has shared the number of subjects that we actually teach. So example, like one of the subjects I teach, financial management, they actually teach you how you should manage your fund. So it's not just about reporting your debit and your credit, which is what you most hear about in school, but it's a lot more than that. You learn how you could manage your funds, how can you invest, even not as a business owner, I think as an individual, how to invest, the different types of investments available to diversify your income, say for example. So it might not necessarily be something just about business. You could also use it in your day-to-day life as well. So I think it does help instead of just thinking about accounting all the way. So I think coming to Sunway and probably learning a little bit more what is ICAEW would be good. Instead of listening to what other people say that's very boring, it's not as fun anymore.
Yeah, that's right. I think one more very important point, you brought up a very key issue is, during especially the past 2 years where we had COVID-19, okay, a lot of businesses fail, but the businesses that are actually able to sustain are the ones who are able to manage their cash well, right? They are able to sustain, and that's where, all right, the kind of experiences that they have with our qualification, like doing due diligences and all that, they are definitely going to be able to, manage their businesses better, manage their risks better, and be able to have a better head start when the MCO got lifted, right? And all those businesses that are actually able to do well are those organizations that actually manages their finances well. Okay, so and that is what is very important in a business. So you learn that very much in this particular qualification, correct? When you teach your FM, I'm sure how you actually, borrow money or raise funds, all right, and how do you manage the money that you have, and of course on top of that, learning how to manage your gearings and all that to ensure that the risk is going to be low. So you need to know how to keep your cash stash, all right, and especially when you say for individuals, okay, we also have to manage our cash well.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
With inflation and all that, where are we going to park our money? Okay, we work so hard for our money, and then at the end of the day, where is it going to go? Okay, so we probably will have to do something that is going to give us very good return on investment. Okay, and for students, probably do a course that is with a scholarship like ICAEW. If you get all the qualification or the results, then with that, it gives you a very good head start. Okay, that's the key. So, what would you advise to our current students? I'm sure some of our students are listening to this. All right. What do you think that would be your advice to the students who are doing ICAEW now?
Well, I think the usual I will always say to my students is I understand it's not a easy program, but I will also say this: anything that comes easy probably won't be as beneficial for you in the future.
Yep.
So whatever effort that you put in right now will come to pay 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road. Of course, it depends on individual as well. But I think to most, I will always say when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So hopefully, when you train yourself to persevere, to be resilient while you are in the course, you will be able to do the same while you are out at work. And trust me when I say this, hard work really does take you a long way. And I think majority of my classmates, when I was talking to them saying that I'll be having a session here, would you like to say something? And they all were telling me, tell them, don't worry, whatever you do now, you'll be able to enjoy it somewhere down the road. And this was mentioned by a friend of mine who's now in Abu Dhabi. He's working as a financial controller in Abu Dhabi, and he told me that you better make sure to tell them, don't worry about the hours that you put in now. Eventually, it will come back by being able to travel anywhere you want. So he is really living the life, flying here and there. I'm not sure if you remember who Desmond is. Desmond.
Yeah. Correct. Desmond. Yep.
So he's in Abu Dhabi. He's really enjoying himself. So I thought, okay, let's speak to him and ask what he wants, if he wants to share anything, because he's really enjoying it. And at the moment, it might not be an easy route per se. You might see your friends enjoy a little bit, but you do get to enjoy in the future when you travel.
Yeah, I think it's very important that you need to work hard when you are young, when you have the energy, when you have the friends to support you together. All right. So, and in the environment like Sunway, that is going to be an environment that you will learn together with peers who are also as passionate as you, who are as good as you, because we attract a lot of good students with scholarship that qualify for the scholarships. And then with a little bit of competition and with a little bit of drive there, what's going to happen is you will reach to greater heights. And your friends 8 years and they are already traveling the world. Okay, so it's like they're not even 40 yet. Okay.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
I mean,
not
I
even
am.
35 yet. Okay, so they are already moving around the world. Okay, and I'm sure I've got other Desmonds that are in Australia. Okay, they are
Yes.
also in Hong Kong. There is also in Singapore. Okay,
Yeah.
and if you want to listen to the session about where our students are actually working in Singapore and what is it that they are actually experiencing. Okay, we have other sessions that are earlier sessions. You can look through our YouTube videos, and we have those sessions that talks about how the qualification can take you very far. Okay, immediately after you have finished, you have not even finished your qualification. The last 3 papers you can actually even do it in Singapore. Okay, so this is the great thing about this particular qualification. So, is there any questions that we have from the floor? We have some of our students calling.
Yeah.
Hi, is one. Hi, Jensen. Do we have any questions from the floor? Do you have any questions from the floor? Anybody? If there's no questions, right, then thank you very much, Eunice. Okay.
Thank you for having
It's
us.
been a pleasure. All right. So wish you all the best. Okay. And to everybody else, okay, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you in another session next week and then the next week after. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank
good
you.
night.
And there's our contact details here. All right. Which if you are interested to find out more about our course, okay, you may contact Miss Jeannie, and that's the email as well as the phone number. I think there's one question. Sorry, there's one question that actually came up. Okay, from Azam. Okay, which says that is it hard to secure a job with the ATEs? In some way, we will find you an ATE, so not a problem at all. All our students get placed. So that would be the question, the answer to that question. Okay, so with that, thank you very much. See you. Good night. Bye.